And Brent, great to have you in. Before we really get started into the numbers, I want to mention the passing of Cheryl Mccullough. You told me over the past weekend, longtime executive director of the United Way, and of course worked with her for years. We sponsored a golf tournament with the proceeds to the United Way, but such sad news to hear that.
Yeah, very much. Cheryl was the one who approached me to originally come onto the campaign. It's just always sad when you lose someone like them.
And of course, she did so much and great work for the United Way, really had a passion for it.
Very much. And I mean, years, she certainly left a print on the local United Way in a big way.
And, you stepping up to the plate to step in for the United Way. Talk again a little bit about your involvement with the United Way.
Sure. I started, I think this is my fourth year with the campaign. Started as a normal campaign volunteer and then have sort of climbing a ladder is probably not a good way to describe it, but so this year I'm the campaign chair. And so we are now deep into the United Way campaign. Things are off and running. We've already had the school district, both Comanche and Clinton have already ramped theirs up. Nestle, Purina, Lyondell are in the throes of theirs. We've just got a lot of good stuff going right now.
I know that the two schools, Gary DeLacy, certainly very much involved. And down at Comanche, the name escapes me, but I know he's been a big part of the United Way as well.
Yeah, we got a really good reception at both of those places. John Jorgensen is kind of our contact point for the Clinton School District. And then I got to go out to Comanche to talk to those teachers directly. And we always really appreciate those people give a lot to the United Way. They just give a lot to the community.
Yeah, and the industries. It's great to see the industries backing the United Way.
Yeah, that's a two-parter that I think is really impactful. First of all, it's a lot of people, a lot of community members. And a large portion of our goal always comes in from large employers' employee contributions. Then we've got the company match that is really valuable with a lot of these places. And so, it ends up making a huge percentage of what we're shooting for.
And, we have those great industries in this community and, Lyondell, LaSalle, Nestle, Purina that you mentioned. I know what great efforts they put into this United Way campaign.
Yeah, in a big way. I don't want to undervalue at all what they do. We also really appreciate a lot of the smaller businesses that we get to go around to. I've spoken to Alliant Energy. We just, all of the retail small business division. It's a really fun way to get out into the community. I really appreciate that. A dollar invested in the local United Way is just a dollar invested in the community, and you can feel that as you go out and talk to people.
Again, getting the United Way update with Brent Albrechtsen. Now, Brent, you guys had a training meeting. Talk about that.
Yeah, we met with all the campaign volunteers last week. We recently filled our second assistant chair position with Letha Melton. Letha's great. It's always exciting when you can find somebody who's, it's great to fill a position. It's even better when you fill it with someone exciting like Letha. And so we were able to sit down with Bob, the first chair, Letha, the second chair, and then all of our campaign volunteers. It was great. We went through the why of the United Way in a lot of ways, and then we went through the how of the campaign. I felt like it was a really productive meeting. Hopefully they did too.
No, Letha, very well. A great addition, no doubt. Now, first report meeting, we'll talk a little bit more about that when you come back in on November 17th. But in that first report meeting, what are you really looking for?
And that's a great place to take the temperature of the campaign and get a sense of, it's always challenging to get numbers back, especially from large places. So we're sending out all of the pledge cards right now. And that's great, and it's good to get those back. It's not that we look for some incredible definitive number in November, but it's a really good way to get an idea of what contacts have been made and what people's response has been, and kind of off to get a sense for the pace of the campaign. It's really valuable. We try and keep them brief, but we try and keep them real productive.
How long of a campaign is it, Brent?
So our goal is to end the campaign by year's end. Sometimes, for example, last year, we stretched that out a lot because we were trying to be flexible with the pandemic. But this year, ideally, we would really like to have it done by the end of the year because of all the payroll deduction contributions that happen. Those really line up nicely with the calendar year. So if we can have those in place by January 1, that's ideal.
The last time we had you in, you talked about Amazon Smiles. If you want to go a little bit further into that for our listeners.
Sure. Thanks, Gary. So Amazon Smiles is a charitable, it's kind of a charitable sleeve of the Amazon company. I think Amazon Smiles is a really valuable way for three reasons of why it can help our local United Way campaign. The first is that the contributions don't come from people. Basically, if I have signed up for Amazon Smiles, and 1% of every purchase I make on Amazon then gets contributed by Amazon Corporation to to our local United Way. What I found for me personally is that I wrote my personal contribution, and we want those contributions. So this is to supplement that. But I wrote my personal check, and then I can go into my Amazon Smiles account and see how much I contributed to the United Way. I signed up last year when I first heard about it, and it increased my contribution to the United Way by 46%. It's such a valuable way to up those contributions. The second real benefit is that it brings money from outside of our community into our community. Because again, this isn't Clinton Community that's funding those dollars. That comes from Amazon as a company. And it's always really beneficial anytime we can get money from outside the community to fund programs and initiatives inside. The third thing is inflation. So inflation is a challenge this year, but inflation is part of our reality every year. And we just know that prices go up a little bit every year. Well, that's difficult from a campaign contribution standpoint, because every year it's easy for me as a contributor to get in the habit of how much I write my check for. And that doesn't adjust for inflation over the years. So every year as I get in front of people, the last 4 years, I've always asked them to consider offering a little bit more, because the fact of the matter is things cost more every year. And so the dollars come into the United Way, they go through our citizen review process, and then they go out to the agencies where they're used to buy uniforms and food and books and whatever. Well, those costs of all those things are going up all the time. This year, it's going up quite a bit. Amazon prices are also going up with inflation. Therefore, my Amazon Smiles contributions are also going up with inflation. It's a great way to generate residual income from, for the campaign every year, instead of people like me having to go out and ask for money every year. But also it adjusts for inflation. So it's, like I say, I just really want to stress, it's not a replacement for a contribution, but it is an excellent way for us to supplement our contributions. You just Google Amazon Smiles, you can either Google it on your computer, or if you use the app like I do, then you just go to the settings and you look for Amazon Smiles. And the thing to look for is that you want to sign up for the United Way of Clinton County. There is a national United Way campaign. We do not want dollars going there. We want them coming directly to Clinton. And so you just want to make sure you sign up for that. The beauty of it is, once you sign up, you're in. You don't have to re-sign up every year. You don't have to listen to me every year. Once you're in, it just runs itself from then on.
We don't mind listening to you, though, every year. We appreciate you coming in. Again, you're going to be in on November 17th. Before we let you go, let's talk about the importance of the United Way to the Clinton area, the community, what you all benefit.
Sure. So the United Way has basically a stool with 3 legs on it. We have an education leg, a financial stability, and a health and wellness. If you think about those 3 things, there are a couple of things that stand out to me. The first, the large amount of overlap. When we see homes that are struggling with health and wellness, we commonly find that there is also some financial instability. Or when there's an education deficiency, that then bridges over to cause of financial instability. And so it's great, and I think it's the United Way as our mission in these impact areas, that we focus on all 3 of those for a nice balanced approach. We have, I believe 17 organizations that we're regularly, funding, and some of those are just in need of dollars. Like they are directly impacted by the pandemic, and that is the reading program at the community school district. It is childcare at the YWCA. It has a major ripple effect. I think it's common to mistake. It's easy to think that the United Way is a welfare organization, and it's not. It's a community organization. And I really appreciate that both the contributor and the beneficiary of the contributions are edified in that we are strong as a community.
Very well put. If people would like to help, who would like to be more involved, how can they best do that, Brent?
You can always call the United Way office. I don't have the number in front of me, Gary. I don't know if you do. But again, if you Google Clinton United Way, then it'll come right up. You can contact the office. You can contact me personally at my Edward Jones office. You can find any contact you have. Go on Facebook. It's easy to find us.
There you go. Hey, Brent, thank you so much for coming in. We'll visit with you on the 17th, and hopefully you'll have some more good news for us.
Thanks, Gary.
When you run with Sloan's on a John Deere 1025R compact utility tractor, the power of this workhorse has your full attention. The